Me my me moo, mo me me mo, mao me me moo.
I can think of like, oh, someone's singing a bad way to be annoying, but never in a million years would I have the genius to think of Chief Wiggum singing. Is that supposed to be do re mi wrong?
I have no idea what it's supposed to be.
But the point is, he's torturing a dog, and it attacks him. But that is unfortunate. Like, I think Erica had said this, is that having a kid makes you stupid.
Yeah.
And one of the things it makes you stupid about is that you're always talking. Like, it's just like you're constantly engaging. You're like, hey, little guy, hey, Mr. Shirt is like a thing I have said.
Yeah.
But when you have like nothing on deck, it's hysterical what comes out. And what Mima Mimu has definitely been like a thing. It's just fallen out of. Yeah, it's just like, oh, you're in your crib. Oh, what if I do the Chief Wiggum?
Poking him, starving him, singing off key.
Me mama me. Me mama me. Well, anyway, it is, this is our 200 plus one.
Anime Sickos Podcast, 200 episodes plus one. Joe, I tell you what, I can't believe that we started doing this in 2019.
I can, on the basis that most of that involved the pandemic, which is just like a blank scene missing.
Yeah, right.
Like, obviously we recorded and complained about the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I often think of see, the thing about this podcast is we're like right all the time. Not that it's hard to be right, because like usually our hypothesis is I don't know, things are probably gonna get worse, and then it's like slam dunk.
Yeah.
But the episode like before the pandemic was with Gaston Marquez, and we were just like, no one's ever gonna stay home because they're sick. We're fucked. Life is over. And that was correct.
Holy shit. Here's the thing about Anime Sickos Podcast, is that it's easy. Like, we got the numbies, I tell you, they're low. We've gotten a lot of like people with podcasts that like have growth mindsets that say like, wow, you have a great product. What's your growth like? And it's like, sir, our numbers have never gone up, and
we get told the other thing, which is, you have a great product. What are you doing with it? And we're like, oh,
you're supposed to do something with it? Like, people will come into the Discord or post at me on Twitter and be like, hey, haven't listened to the podcast in a while, but I just listened to the most recent one. Man, it's so good. And it's like, you don't need to tell me you haven't been listening to the podcast in a while. I've seen the numbers. I've watched the line go down.
I'm also outside your house.
But I mean, I joke. But like, we numbies wise, we've hit our cap. And also, like, in a very real sense, what is this artistic endeavor to us? Well, it means sometimes we sit in the rooms in our house that we're already at, and we talk at the computer for a little bit. And all of which is to say, like, it's easy to get into a down mood. Like, all this stuff we're doing isn't making a difference. Well, guess what, folks? You probably know, because you're the person who sent it. We asked our fucking adoring fans to send in words of congratulations over our 200th episode. And what can I say? But this is the most heartwarming and affirming shit I've ever heard in my life. And we're going to read it all now.
We're going to get feelings.
This is going to be unlistenable for anyone who's not us. But for us, it's going to be so much fun to do. And that's always been our sort of guiding principle. I don't care about the listener. I care about me having fun.
Speaking just from my perspective, numbies aside, this show is like a hole that I can put thoughts into that I can't put anywhere else. And if it was gone, I would explode like the guy from Scanners. So the metrics don't matter so much as it is like a continued life.
People tell me the metrics don't matter. Don't worry about the numbies, Tom. And in a sense, that makes sense, and I agree with that. But if the numbies never go up, I can never do this and make money off of it. And I would really like to do this as my job instead of my job. That's just where I'm coming from.
You know what I like doing?
What?
Like way better than a job? Is just no job. Honestly, being unemployed, I don't know why more people don't do this.
Well, not a lot of people have like a big amount of net worth they built up that they can just
that's because of hustle. That's because of hustle and because I know all the facts about Legend of Mana, which I nail in every high-stakes interview.
Is that the new... I don't know which Mana one
There's a
is
new
which.
one. I saw it.
Okay. I haven't played any of them. That's a big blind spot for me, is the of Manas. Anyway, also Saga. I haven't played any Sagas.
Those aren't real. Those are just a fake thing.
Those are made up. That's
it's like a Slender Man.
Okay. Or it's like a franchise of movies from a show.
Yeah, like Young
Okay.
Pope.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's good to know. Anyway, let's read this fucking nice shit people said about us. Honestly, this is just going to be all that. So let's get to it.
I'm going to rephrase this in a better way. If you've enjoyed this show in any capacity, if you've felt a sense of community and whatever meaning of that term is to you, although these letters are directed at us and saying we're amazing and perfect,
Yeah.
just please understand this is something that these compliments have occurred because you've helped us build something that could get the praise.
That is a much better way of putting it. Please disregard my previous way of putting it. That's the correct way. Also, I said this episode was going to be unlistenable if you're not us. That's not correct, because this is going to be the episode I sent to my family to prove that anyone gives a shit about this podcast. Before, when I was saying that, Joe was like, oh, do they not believe people like it? And I was like, I don't think they believe it's real. like that's a level of thought that they've never given it.
I guess I don't understand the need for creative approval from family. I just don't have that. I don't. I'm sorry.
I don't need it, but it would be nice. That's where I'm at. Also, like, when they're like, so what have you been up to? And it's like, well, the thing I really have been spending most of my time and energy on is my podcast. But when I start talking about that to you, I'm going to become a Charlie Brown adult. And no information will be communicated. Let's get to it. Our first congratulation and word of thanks is from our homie Jared Mason, who says, hey, Sickos, congrats on the milestone. As with most cultural movements, I was a bit late to the game. I feel like I only started listening during the pandemic, but boy, let me tell you, I love getting the notification that a new episode dropped. Jared, we had been going for only a very brief time when the pandemic began.
You were not late to the movement. You were, at worst, punctual.
Yeah. Continuing. You guys kick so much ass, correct. Have wonderful insights, ding. And are 100% correct. We were just saying that. About everything. I may just be a simple suburban dad / improviser / writer / analog game designer. God, if only I could say that about myself one day. Not the dad part. That I don't really. I'm not
the
striving
analog
for
part.
that. Also, improviser. I don't really want to do that. I mostly want to be making board games. Jared says
I want to tell a factory that like this is how the little wooden cubes need to be.
Yeah.
And if they're not like this, there's going to be hell.
The hell is you're not going to have the money for another print run. I may just be a simple all that, but it feels like I'm hanging out with Du Bois when I have the podcast on. Thanks for doing what you do. Stay sick. Jared, thank you. So glad you feel like the boys are hanging with you.
I don't know. Did I, on the subject of improvising, I might have said this on the show previously, but when I taught, there was a kid who was just like very funny and he wanted to do like stand up, and I had office hours with him, and we were just like talking, and I was like, oh yeah, are you interested in performing and stuff? And I was like, oh, you could do improv here, you know? And he was like, yeah, I don't know, I don't really like improv. And his way of like pointing out his lame is he immediately began miming mixing a big bowl, and he's like, I gotta make this cake. And I was just like in my office just like, holy shit,
this kid gets it.
This is so fucking funny. Yeah. No offense, of course. I'm just saying I never had seen. I was not expecting that level of takedown in such a small interaction.
Brutal. Okay, next one. Oh my God. So you mentioned our homie Marquez, the last guest, the last pre-pandemic episode we recorded, and the last episode we recorded in the same physical space altogether. Marquez has sent us this. Dear the Anime Sickos, The world goes to 4 feet. Joe, can you explain what Marquez mean by the world goes to 4 feet to those who may not remember all the lore?
It was it all started because he asked, was it a kid?
Yeah, he said he told a kid that millennials walked so they can run.
And he said, "Oh, I'm crawling." And then Chevy from Crawfish Comic informed us that there was this really fun book of weird translations, and it translated "I'm crawling" to "I go to 4 feet."
So hence the world goes to 4 feet. Thank you for doing the good work and releasing a podcast that if a job hears what you're saying on it, they will pull the Mr. Burns lever and incinerate you. When my podcast feed doesn't have Anime Sickos on screen, I say, "Where's Anime Sickos?" I tend to think it's unfair to put responsibility for one's well-being on artists by saying your podcast saved my life or some other stuff like that. But you are also the world's greatest podcasters, and your ego should be very large, and you should feel invincible, and you can never die now. Good job. P.S. I think you need to talk about One Piece again now that the manga is about global warming and government denial and shit. Whack and wild. Or, talk about any manga again. Listen, motherfucker. I don't want to read.
No, Tom and I had preliminary discussions about all right, we need to get in on some stuff, and I wanted it to be a fighting, punching thing. I gave him some things. I actually got some very good recommendations from homie of the show, Vince White from Kame House, about battling sword katana magic guys, which I very much enjoy. Which the point is, I am sifting through the manga. The thing is, although Tom struggles to get me to watch stuff, I have to really get the right manga for him at the right angle for him to jump in.
Do you know what it really is? You know what the problem is? And I've learned this about myself recently, is that I have the mental bandwidth to become a student of an art form at a time. If I'm watching a TV show, that's the thing that I do. I am watching a TV show. If I'm reading real books, that's what I'm doing. I'm reading real books. If I'm reading manga, that's what I'm doing. I'm reading manga. But for the last 2 months, I've been all in on music. And prior to this, from 2020 to 2022, I barely listened to music at all. And yeah, this is why it goes in rotation. You show me these mangas, and I'm like, these would be so much fun to read
if the right time was up on rotation.
Yeah, you know what I can do? I'll do my best to force a transitional period into manga time. We'll see.
So are you even doing weekly One Piece anymore, or no?
No, I was okay. Even when I was still reading manga, I had taken a pause on One Piece because I wanted to. This started when I, caught up to the manga and started reading it weekly, and I realized I have a really hard time remembering what's fucking happening. So I will let it run for a couple of years and then read it all in one go. So when the arc Marquez mentioned began, I read 2 or 3 chapters and was like, you know what, I'll wait. And I think it's done now. So
you really need to be on a weekly read for something that is absolutely mid. That's how you really get the skill of manga reading. I read Kengan Omega every week, and I cannot tell you it's good. It is up and down, but it's the act of reading what is maybe trash but could be really good really gets me in the mood of the art form. It's good stuff.
That's pretty good. You know what? I'll do it. I'll make the promise to get back up to speed with One Piece, and then hopefully that gives me the momentum to become manga Tom for a period. We'll see. I'll do my best. I can't promise nothing. All right.
One suggestion I just want to say for listeners and also maybe Tom, if you haven't read it already and you like fighting guys, and you specifically like that realistic fighting, by which I mean street fighting and not shooting fireballs.
Yeah.
Read Holy Land. Holy Land is the premise is very simple. There is a loser who is never able to leave his room because he's just scared generally. Then he just starts practicing throwing straight punches and that's all he does is throw straight punches. And then one day he goes out and he starts fighting, and the first thing he does is absolutely obliterate someone with his insane straight punch, which he's been doing in his room forever. And it is like a sort of a youth sort of like fighting / like social issues, urban sort of cool thing. I very much like it. It does the thing where it shows like a guy punching and it shows you a diagram. That's very important.
Yes. You see arrows and you see like the 3D skeleton view.
Yeah, but anyway, it's fun, and it's more quote unquote realistic than like the Kengan stuff, because there's like no like removal. Like, I will now remove the limiter from my brain and get veiny.
Yeah, no. Kengan is not. It would purport to be set in a world where magic does not exist, but magic exists. It just is.
It's muscle
magic. Muscle bait. Yes. Okay. Next one is from our homie Davin Pavlos. This is an audio. Listen up. There's going to be a number of audio ones. I said that like it's like, wow, can you believe it? Like, yeah, you can believe it easily because there's going to be many.
Hey, Anime Sickos. This is Davin over from California. Thanks for 200 episodes of telling me how to live my life right. Thanks to y'all, I'm consuming all the right media, and because of that, I'm 100% correct and I'll never die.
This is the second person who's talked about being 100% correct and never dying, which goes to show how true it is.
The more people say we won't die, like the more lives we get, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
We get additional mans.
That's like, yeah, that's the same as though we double jumped into a hidden alcove and picked up a floating picture of our own head. It's the same. David also says, P.S. When I say I'm going to listen to a podcast, my wife jokingly whines in a plaintive voice, "Is it Anime Sickos?" I guess that's not a whine. Is it the boys? Yeah, it's the boys. And you're going to like it. Next is from our homie Zach Greenham, or Greenham. Green Eggs and Ham. Congratulations, Sickos. I started listening in April of 2022 when I saw someone, I think Taylor Moore, retweet the episode about Joe going to the hospital, which some may say is a bold choice for Verse Listen. I think it's a good choice. However, this was at a time in my life when I was in year number 2 of being legally unemployable, and meanwhile, my partner was the sole source of income, working a job that made him want to die every single day. Yeah, it's called a job. Hearing Joe's story and knowing he's still around gave me hope that things will get better. Listening to Anime Sickos has helped dismantle mine and my partner's deep-seated belief that our inherent value is tied to how good we are at job. Great news. Things have gotten better. I have several jobs, and most of them don't suck. One of them is just running tabletop RPGs. My partner changed careers entirely. Most important, though, we're still here. On top of all that, you're also my go-to source to find out what manga is good, so that kicks ass. Shit, I do need to start reading. Multiple people talk about how much they like when we talk about manga.
Because our taste is good, our frequency of taste drops is not.
Quality over quantity, motherfucker. You don't have to read any of this long shit on the podcast. Yeah, but I chose to. But I did want to share how the Anime Sickos came into my life when I needed it most, and this podcast will always have a place in my heart. Thank you, and long live Anime Sickos, at least until you want to call it quits.
Thank you. A few people, it's not the first time I've heard, the first episode I heard is when you lost your mind.
Your mind.
And you went to the place where they watch you a lot. And that's fine, actually, because that's a pretty good entry point into, like, what I'm working with.
Yeah. People all are like, I can't believe that. My first one's like, I can't. It was really good. Like, what do you think? Yeah, I can't. That is so. That shit is so touching. Like I say, it's easy to think that, like, well, this show is me sitting in a room alone and yapping at the screen, and then I don't get any reward. It's pointless, but like, shit, man, that's so fulfilling to hear. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Next is from our homie Kenneth Fassel. Kenny. This is Kenny. This is the one that we thought was turning 18. It was really turning 28. And we went on and on about, I can't believe we have a teen listener. And we didn't. Congratulations on 200 episodes in 5 years. Truly an insane achievement for a couple of guys. I really want to share how happy I am for y'all, but also how thankful I am for all the work you've done. This show has truly meant a lot to me, so I apologize if this runs a bit long, but it will probably still not cover it all. When I started listening in early 2022, there were a few podcasts I listened to regularly, but I wasn't a fan of any. Then one day, one of the guys I follow on Twitter, who I only knew as a mentally ill Chicago man, posted that he'd just released an episode of his podcast titled The Sickos Read a Bunch of Posts. And I thought, I guess, I'm pretty bored. I'll bite. I enjoyed it enough that I made a mental note to keep an eye out for next week's episode. And when I read the title, Complaining Kicks Ass, I exclaimed, it's true, and they're right to say it. These guys are geniuses. I've been a fan ever since. I still listen to other podcasts, but people know what I mean when I talk about the podcast. That's what we mean when we say we're the only podcast, folks. I think that's the best way it's ever been explained. I do know that you do not make this show for me, but I don't think I would be able to tell the difference if you did. It's like a tailor-made suit to the point that I barely even recommend it to other people because it fits me so perfectly. That's why we don't get any new fucking listeners. We're too good.
It's all because of one person's refusal.
Yeah,
to share
fuck you, Kenny. No, I would never say fuck you to Kenny. That said, I generally do not like expressing fandom or calling myself a fan because I do agree with everything you said about the trappings of fandom. The idea of fandom makes me uncomfortable. One of my longest and strongest beliefs, longest held and strongest beliefs, is the belief isn't a big, hard dong. One of the only good original, to me, thoughts that I've ever had is that you do not truly love something unless you can honestly criticize it. There's an episode where Tom says this almost verbatim, and I actually paused the show and started pumping my fist and cheering. I said it to Ron Paul supporters in high school, Game of Thrones fans in college, and now, very quietly, just in their general direction, Swifties. I would not have written that down, man.
She's got shooters on a different level. I wouldn't do that.
Don't. Man, I'm sorry I said that out loud. On a record, there's evidence now. Anyway, I would have never thought to have called this sicko mindset, but I'm not a genius. Does that mean I have to criticize you to really show and express my love? Well, you are insane for having mango win the fruit tournaments over tomato. That's fucked. No, it's not. Mango's the best.
It's good. Look, there was a lot of shit that happened in there that I don't agree with in retrospect, but mango having the crown is not one of them.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. You're about to hear something that you ain't gonna like. Also, I'm sorry, y'all, but the Stella pilot was fine. It was fine. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, that hurt me more than it hurt you. But I only did it because I love you so much. Fuck you. The Stella pilot's great.
We're in a tableau. We can't answer the door because we're in a tableau.
Get the key from under the mat. There's no mat. Well, you got to get the mat from the cleaners, and then the key's under. Okay, never mind. We're not going to get through to him.
There's no way you would have found your way to the Stella pilot. Let's be honest.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Fair enough. That's true. I don't think anyone can deny that. But that's why this podcast has meant so much to me, to have two upstanding guys, real role models, dare I say, pillars of the community, talk about the things they love, not insecurely, but from the standpoint of, look at this stupid shit. Isn't it great? Has done wonders for my mental health and general attitude. I always knew the things I loved sort of sucked shit, but the Sickos taught me that's okay. Everything does. It also helps me keep in mind that while everyone also likes a bunch of dumb shit that sucks, that only just makes them as stupid as me. I can't say that you saved my life. Well, why not? Get a worse life.
Lied to us.
Though it wouldn't surprise me at all if someone could say that. But you've made my life better. I feel like it would be easy to call you pessimist since y'all love yammering about how the world is shitifying, the machine gets more blood than ever, and our modern misery is upheld by 4 unshakable pillars. But despite all your complaining, which does kick ass, you're mainly talking about ways out, the things you like, the goofs, how all slop is slop, but that slop is good. You're optimists. I can't speak for the rest of the fandom, but I think that's why we love you. We see all the horrible things you see. We knew the devil was real before you told us, and the machine already had our blood. But sometimes you see the good parts better than most do. I could go on even longer and get overly sweet and sentimental, but I don't want to make you Midwestern boys uncomfortable. Oh, buddy, there's no amount of praise that could do that. So I'll end with one more sincere thank you and congratulations on this milestone. The 100th episode is one of my favorites, and I've re-listened to it before just to feel the good vibes, so I really can't wait to hear this one. From the goddamn Virginian, Kenny. P.S. I also probably would never have watched Detroiters if you hadn't done an episode on it. So thanks for that,
Okay,
too.
so we're heroes. We're
Yes.
heroes.
So we did save his life. He's dead. He can't say that. I'm saying that. You would have had a life of no Detroiters. You would have never seen
You know
a
what's
shitting
just
car.
a fucking unbelievable line read on Detroiters that has popped in my head constantly? Oh, we're counting beers?
And then when he's, yes, how many drinks have you had today? And he starts, and when he realizes that beers count as a drink, he starts just opening and closing his hand as he's counting in his head. And then he explains to the doctor that every time he does that, that's 5. God, it's good. We're counting beers? All right, this next one's from Jamie Lucas. This is one of them audio ones, so I don't have to read it.
Hello, Sickos. Jay here, winner of the Dune Dice and UK Sicko from the infamous Hog Island. Just want to say congratulations on 200 and making the world's best and only podcast. Looking forward to many more events and hope you continue fighting the good fight.
Joe, that guy's from fucking Toad Island. He said it himself.
We
You know
have said nothing but unkind things about that island. I am so pleased that, you know what this means? We're good enough to overcome that level of nagging.
Yeah. Wow.
But obviously not everyone there is no good. Like not everyone is eating a chip sandwich,
Yeah.
a fry sandwich.
Just take it out of the bread. The fries are done. Like, that's all. No, okay. Yeah, no. There are, you know, we talk shit about Hog Island. He called it Hog Island. We say Toad Island. I think they're both
that,
accurate.
though.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, we might start interchanging.
My reading of Hog Island is that the politics are good over there.
Yeah, and it'll only get better. And that they have a normal amount of race hate riots. Jesus Christ.
That are condemned the appropriate amount.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you, Jamie.
I do always... I am tickled whenever there's a non-U.S. listener. Thank you.
I couldn't, like, I've heard British accents recorded millions of times. You know, movies, TV shows, British accents that are all over the place. But, like, hearing a British accent that, like, isn't on TV, that's like, this is
But
real.
they're talking
This is
to
like
you.
a
It's
real
like
guy.
Bugs Bunny is talking to you.
Yes, it's like, hey, Tom. Like, what did you like The Bear season 3? And it was like, you're real. All right, next one. This is from Zachary Armstrong. Hey, Sickos. Just wanted to let you know that you're easily in the top 1 of podcasts because you're the only podcast. You know, we do say that from time to time. Whenever you guys drop an episode, it's the first thing I listen to that day. You guys are always funny, often insightful. I would say always insightful, but whatever. I'm not gonna beg.
You care about funny more. Don't act like you care about insightful as much as funny.
That's true. If he had said often funny, often insightful, I'd have been like red. I would have been like, I would have become
You'd have entered
British.
a new boss phase.
Yes. If I'm gonna get one always, I want it on funny, but I just want 2 always. You're a better interviewer on guest episodes than most TV news guys. Yeah, that's my journalism minor coming through, man. I love the Anime Sickos podcast. Thanks. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Our next one is from fucking Anime Joe Pesci. Oh, you love Anime Joe Pesci, dude.
I love it. I think Anime Joe Pesci is like my best reply guy. Specifically, I was just doing a tweet about how I hate it when I am like punched and then my eyes turn into no sale and my tongue sticks out with a cash register sound. You know, like that stupid Looney Tunes shit. And I believe he replied with, your angel ghost is leaving your body and then you grab it and pull it back in so you can keep fighting. Fuck.
You often will just send me a Anime Joe Pesci reply to one of your tweets with the
Yeah, I'd
comment,
be like,
this dude is
the
so
funniest
funny.
guy. The funniest guy.
Anyway, he has this to say. Sold the BF on the pod from the intro music alone. You can't beat that juice. Thanks for the hard work, guys.
thank you. And thank you to Chuck for supplying the juice.
Indeed. And why don't we, I've been going in order received, but I'm going to do a lateral move because we just had someone calling out how great the intro music is. So let's hear from Chuck Rios, composer of all music heard on Anime Sickos, be that our bumpers, our theme, or the music from Sicko Shack 2. Chuck Rios, one of the geniuses of all time, has this to say: "Hey, Anime Sickos. Congratulations on making it to 200 episodes. It's been a pleasure to be a big part of it through my musical efforts, and I'm so happy the works I created flourished, which is a wonderful endeavor. I love that with every episode, my voice is always included because it's in the theme song. How cool is that?" That's, yeah, okay, interesting fun fact. I gave him, like, the prompt, like, we want it to be big and annoying and have a lot of air horns, like, too much. And I gave him a bunch of, like, vocal snippets. Just, like, use this if you think it would be good. You'll recall I go, "Anime Sickos, Anime Sickos." That's in the theme song. But, like, the whispering, like, "Anime Sickos." That's a Chuck original. He just, like, sent us the file and it had that in it. We didn't ask. He's just that good.
It's a headphones only sound too. You don't really catch that if it's coming through a speaker.
Yeah. So the air horns are for the pros. The whispers are for, like, the real audio files. Anyway.
The high fives.
Yeah. Anyway, then he continues. "There was Sicko Shack 2. I got to work with some awesome, talented people directly and indirectly, and ultimately got to be part of something really special. As the inaugural guest, I'm honored that I can always put that on my resume and wear it as a badge of the highest honor." Well, you can't put that on your resume because, as it's been previously mentioned, if you tell a...
This is not a good resume show.
You tell a job person anything about Anime Sickos, and they're allowed to shoot you. Like, it's in... Like, Trump put that in.
You can only talk about a podcast at work if it's done by that... Is it Jocko, the Killer Marine?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But, like, us?
No. And it feels like only yesterday that you guys were pitching the concept in music to me, and subsequently recording our episode in the studio, which was a lot of fun. It was. Thank you so much for putting your trust in me to work on the music, and congratulations on reaching episode 200. Much love, Chuck Rios. Thank you, Chuck. Much love right back.
Chuck's really great. I don't know what his capacity is right now. However, if you find yourself in need of music and you wanted to get a conversation started, boy, oh boy, do I know a guy you should fucking talk to.
He's like a genius. Like, it's great. Like, he just, like, comes up with shit. I don't know.
Yeah, not to oversell him, but he's just very... we love working with Chuck for a reason, and it's not just because he's our bud. Although he is for sure our bud.
I will oversell him. He's like one of the great geniuses of all time, and here's how much. Every time I've had an issue with my computer, my PC, I go online, I try to find a solution on Google. It's hard. I go on Reddit. It's hard. It doesn't work. And then, you know what I fucking do? I go on Discord and I message Chuck and I say, "Chuck, here's what my issue is." And he just tells me what to do, and it works. I've done this like 5 times.
He's done the same for me on a motherboard issue I had. I was just like, this fucking thing is happening. And he's like, "Oh, there's like this deranged setting in the BIOS that you don't know about. Here, I got it."
Fucking nonsense. I love it. This one's from Sophie Yoke Punk on the Discord, and there are 2 pictures of fucking kitty cats attached. Oh my god, we gotta...
Kind of looks like a Lucy.
You gotta sleep. She's more gray. Lucy's more brown, but yes, I see where you're coming from. Oh my god, that's a sleeper. Okay, you can't see, listener, but there's some cute pictures of kitty cats. Joe, Tom, congratulations on 200 episodes. You've left an incredible mark on my life. I genuinely made so many wonderful and deep friendships because of you two. Parentheses, good. I also read One Piece now. Parentheses, bad. You win some, you lose some. Thanks for being smart and funny and creating the only podcast. Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you, Sophie. Sorry about One Piece.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, like, it's good, but it's bad. Sicko mindset, what can we say? That cat is so fucking cute. Thank you for the cat pictures. Moving on. Oh my god. Hey, sickos. It's the Rain Raven here. Oh!
Shit.
Y'all's podcast is amazing, and I enjoy every minute of it. I hereby induct y'all into the Raven Wizard Conclave. Joe, yo, that's official. And
I am no longer unemployed.
we invite y'all to choose what you want to be the wizards of. Whoa.
Like, okay, so like you're a geomancer, or like you have to pick an element. Because I don't want to be like a druid, because those are like vine wizards.
Lame.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking about, like, I'm always partial to having magic that its main purpose is transportation, be that flying or teleporting. I think teleporting might be a bridge too far in terms of, like, it's too strong. So I might just want to be like an airbender, like from fucking Aang, so I could fly.
I feel like earthbending, if you got good at it, could actually like change the world in a good way.
Yeah, that's what
Like
we're
you
gonna
could
do.
do quick construction. There would be bike lanes everywhere.
Shit, yes, you could make bollards, real bollards, not the flex bollards. There was someone on Reddit who was talking about there was like a city employee around, and they went up to him and were like, "Hey, while you're here, like, what can I do about getting some bollards on this street? Because like there's been some dangerous driving." And the guy was like, "Oh, those don't work. They're basically paint." It's like, wow.
Yeah, and you can hear, like, at night I can hear. They've replaced most of them with like heavier stuff, but I think there's like a few still. And at night I can hear like the boom, like when someone is just absolutely destroying it.
And it does absolutely nothing. Anyway, in all seriousness, were you not serious about that Raven Wizard Conclave shit? God damn it. Okay, well, never mind. In all seriousness,
I still want to be an earthbender.
Yeah, and I still want to fly. Your podcast is amazing, and I binged it all in like 1.5 months. Congratulations on 200, and may you have many more hundreds of episode. That was Jessica
Thank
Rose
you.
from the Discord, the Rain Raven. Shit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one. It's me, Manfred, from the Discord. By the way, did you know we have a Discord? Some people say, like, how could I have known? It's like, because we talk about it every once in a while. Well, we have one. Go look it up. Anime Sickos Discord. It'll probably be the first Google result. Congrats on keeping up the best and only podcast for this long. You guys and all the guest hosts have brought me words of not only entertainment, but vindication of several hyper-specific, petty complaints, and also an incredibly compelling audio drama that I made 2 of my family members sit down and listen to. Not like a hostage situation. They had fun. Wow.
But if they weren't, would you have escalated?
I guess we'll never know. You've made gags, pieces of commentary, and media recommendations that are all going to stick with me for life, and for that you deserve praise and enormous monetary compensation. Though I can unfortunately only afford to give the former. Well, I'll take either one. Good job, Anime Sickos. Thank you, Manfred.
Thank you, Manfred. This feels in line with a little bit of what we discussed about our Midwest sensibilities, which is great taste, but also fucking morons.
And wanting money but not getting it.
Mm-hmm. That's a classic Midwest thing.
This one's from Cameron. This homie is a real homie. Cameron does the Nothing Doing comic that is on the internet. That's a funny comic that has a lot of sicko themes in it. Also, I believe when Medley and Rain did the Gesto to Gesto app, they had Cameron on as a contributor. Dearest Sickos, when I first started listening to the show, I was a few months out from graduating college and becoming a classic office cog. In another world, I might have tried to approach this life with some sort of enthusiasm and slowly been ground down to a mealy paste. But luckily, I had Tom and Joe screaming in my ear, telling me about the blood machine. As such, I went into the workforce knowing exactly what to expect, parentheses, evil. And when I got it, parentheses, evil, I was able to hold on to my non-paced form and say, wow, just like on my favorite podcast. More sincerely, this show and the ethos that you two put into it has been foundational for my creative life. Doing the thing you want to do, even if it's dumb, or if it's just for fun, or if you're doing it wrong on purpose because you think it's funny. Approaching creative projects with that mindset has been extremely freeing for me and has allowed me to do some really fun, really dumb stuff. Thank you for creating, I'll say it, the perfect 2 guys chatting podcast. You guys are really funny, and I like the way you say stuff. Hell yeah. This one feels good.
That one just feels good. They all feel good, but that one hit really nice.
Yeah. See, okay. When I like moan about like why is nobody reviewing Sickos Shock 2, it's partly because I'm just a fucking little piggy and I want to eat prey. I want a bowl of praise and a treat.
Piggy. Yeah, a little oink.
But
oink,
also
oink.
like there's something about someone articulating what you hope is your work that you didn't tell them, like, look out for this, wink wink. Like they recognized it on their own and they like had an experience. Yeah, like someone got it, you know? It's one thing for someone to be like, it was good. And it's like, yeah, but what worked, you know? Because I know all the parts that are in it, but like, did any, like, what worked? Like, are there parts that no one got? Are there parts where I failed and I didn't come across? This is why, and like, this is why it feels so good, because Cameron is fucking doing that. All right, next one. It's from Robot. Hey, man. That's a pretty good podcast. Jokes aside, congrats on 200 episodes and 1 billion years of making this podcast. It's the only podcast I've listened to all the way through. I've become insufferable at how good Sicko Shock 2 is, in both a jobs way and a jokes way. And I am always thrilled to be privileged enough to hear a sketch inside of a podcast. Whoa!
This is what I'm saying. We cannot do sketch episodes. They need to be sprinkled lightly. But you are an addict. You have to do your big Scarface mound of jokums. Every time.
We don't also do sketches inside of episodes. We have like 2 or 3 sketches ready to go that we always forget about. There's the Pritzker one about graffiti, and then there's the one about the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. Like those are somewhere. I don't know where you put those.
The Cherry Poppin' Daddies sketch, which we'll still do, but I'll ruin it for you now because the joke doesn't matter, because it's a bunch of guys being like, hey, so we're in agreement. We're going to start a band. Yeah. And we're going to use like marching band shit instead of like normal things. Yeah. And we're going to call ourselves the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. Yeah. And at which point we come out of the time portal and just kill everybody. And we're just like, okay, cool. You can't say that.
Anyway, we're still going to do that because nobody mentioned it when we did Oops All Sketches too, but we did exactly this for the Tower of Babel with all Joe's sketch, where you said, I don't know if we'll make this sketch, but here's the entire thing. And then we did it, and everyone was like, man, that sketch was so good. I'm like, did you remember when whatever. As a trans woman, this is Robot, again, not me. As a trans woman really going through it in college, I appreciate how normal you guys are, especially when so much of my world is not. I will never forgive you for getting me into One Piece. Yeah, well, I'll never apologize either.
Is that the third now that has laid that sin at your feet?
That's wild. I say in the One Piece episode that I would never recommend anyone read it, because it's like recommending someone like run 100 miles. It's like, you need to decide to run 100 miles. I can't tell you to. So in that sense, I absolve myself of all responsibility. It's your sins, listeners. Next one, this is from Scott Daly. This is one of them fucking audio ones, and I tell you, I bet he's going to have an accent.
Hello, anime sickos. Coming at you from the land down under, but the one that has the flightless birds, not the dangerous animals. Just calling in to say that I greatly enjoy your podcast, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword. While the episodes are amazing, I absolutely love the sketches, please keep doing them. It is making it increasingly and incredibly difficult for me to date pretty ladies, because inevitably at some point during the conversation I'll say, wow, that reminds me of the Anime Sickos podcast, and then they will look at me as if I have split my belly open in front of them and spilt out all the danger spaghetti across the table. Keep doing what you're doing. Love it.
Okay, first of all, if you did cut your belly open and like disemboweled yourself, that shows an insane level of commitment, and that's attractive.
Confidence.
And then in general, my experience is that it's strictly Babe City when you bring up the podcast. Because I'm doing the logic. That was New Zealand, not Australia, right?
I believe that was implied.
Okay. Nice Australia. This is what I'm. I don't know. Maybe the Babe factor's over there, but all you gotta do is write it on a piece of paper around here and walk around with it, and you're golden. Just
See, this
anime
is what happens to me
Sickos.
every day. I tell my wife, hey, I'm going to be recording Anime Sickos. And she's like, got it. And I don't think that really applies to you. That's not a good piece of advice.
Okay, here's something that happened to me though. I left the house yesterday, and as soon as I opened the door, like Fallout style, there were two people there. They were like, "Hey, we saw your vibe from across the lot, and we really, really dig your vibe. We would love for you to be our unicorn." I'd be like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I have
and
a
that's
podcast.
they're like, I know that's why we're here, but I also understand that you need to have a commitment to the podcast first. It's that kind of confidence and strength that made us so attracted to you in the first place. This actually, now that you mention it, that does happen to me all the time too. I assumed that was like unrelated, but they do mention the podcast when they tell me that a lot. So I don't know why I didn't think that. Anyway, next up. Hello, Sickos. I've been a long-time listener and wanted to congratulate you on 200 eps. Show kicks ass. When I started listening to the show, I was just a normal cis guy who didn't say stuff like "this whips sack" or "going nut" or "the machine will have blood." Now I'm a trans woman who says all of those things. Anime Sickos has been one of those pieces of online culture that, like Homestar Runner, has completely ruined my vocabulary and made communicating with my friends very interesting, because my extremely cool new way of speaking sometimes leaves them puzzled and saying shit like, "Could you please be normal?" I guess what I'm saying is that Anime Sickos is the Homestar Runner of podcasts. Congrats on 200 episodes. Yours truly, Kira, a.k.a. Thy Dungeon Gal from Tumblr. P.S. How do you podcast without boxing gloves on?
Homestar Runner is high praise.
I love Homestar Runner. To think that in anyone's mind we are on a similar footing with them is like, wow. Like, I think like Homestar Runner is like Calvin and Hobbes level. Just like one of those things that's like up in heaven. Like it can never be touched.
Well, I want more praise.
We got more. This one's a real quick one from Luther Paramore. Thank you guys for 200 bangers. They're not all bangers. None of them are bad, but let's be real. The fact that I'll just do this in your free time blows my mind. I look forward to whatever y'all get up to next. It's going to be more Anime Sickos.
It's either going to be that or a video game that is funded by, I guess, by money we find on the ground.
Yeah, we got to pull a Blundetto and use it to make an RPG Maker game. We do this in our free time. It's nuts. Actually, not exactly, because I'm at work now. So this isn't free time. I'm just stealing. Next up, it's another audio one. I'm going to play it now.
This show's been pretty cool to me. I listened to it at work. I listened to it when I'm bored at college. And I went through like half the podcast in a month. And then when you guys talked about E1, and I listened to that nonstop, and I give them $5. I don't give you guys $5, sorry, but, you know, you guys are pretty cool too. Listening to you guys talk about anime and shit while I'm, like, mopping floors at work, it's, like, pretty damn cool. The Chicago scene is pretty damn cool. I listen to all those Chicago podcasts now, but I'm not even from Chicago. It's freaky. Anyway, congrats.
I love that. Here's what's great. The episode 1 guys get $5. We don't. I love it.
They're better than us. Sorry.
They do a great show.
You're
They do.
right.
They are a Chicago-based. They did the Joe Biden thing, man. Like when it was 3 Joe Bidens talking. Fact of the matter is, that's some funny shit. Interesting that there's been like a Chicago connection to other Chicago podcasts. I felt like the geography didn't matter to anyone, but I just like talking about Chicago.
That's true.
But I hope the floors remain easy to mop.
Hell yeah, I agree. So this makes me like, shit, there's like a Chicago podcast scene. Like, again, as I say, the real experience of doing this show is I sit alone in my room at home and yap at the screen. There's no community involved.
Yeah, all art is social. All art is so social in your room alone. Yeah.
We like what? Is this what people talk about when they say networking? Do we need to do that? Probably. Shit. Well, thank you. That was from. There was no name. The email was from So Fluffer, which, if that's your name, thank you. If it's not, still thank you. But I don't know your name. Next up is from our homie Bass Toad. Oh my god. It's got music in it from Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech, the guy who makes all the music that's free. Let's hear it.
Tired of homework podcasts making you think of big money and stonks? Are you fed up with animes about children in skimpy outfits making strange noises? Disappointed by the lack of skits in other podcasts? Then you need the Anime Sickos Podcast. That's right, Anime Sickos, a podcast for geniuses. Tune in every week, almost, as your hosts, Tom and Joe, discuss the 4 pillars of modern misery. Anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. Join Tom and Joe as they yap about topics such as: what's the greatest Dragon Quest monster? Why does having friends kick ass? Strategies for optimizing wage theft. And learn the ultimate
Time
fruit
theft.
in the fruit tournament. Don't believe me? How about some testimonials from satisfied listeners? Thanks to Anime Sickos, I'm now training to do a double jump in real life. Ever since I started listening to the Anime Sickos podcast, I've been able to triple the amount of wage theft that I commit at work. Thanks, Tom and Joe.
What's it called? Anime Sickos? You want me to record a testimonial for a podcast called Animes? I don't even know who they are. That name is really dumb.
Anime Sickos. It's the only podcast.
So time theft is what we encourage. Wage theft is when the boss man says you got to clock out before you clean the floors.
Yeah.
Just so we don't teach people how to do. We actually don't like that. We're not a fan of it.
Wage theft is evil. Time theft is cool, and you should do it. Small nitpick. That was so fucking good.
Thank you.
The every week almost is like, it got me. So good. Thank you, Bass Toad. See, we tried to make like an ad once to like put on other shows. I don't think anyone ever did, but it like I don't know if it came out that good. Probably didn't come out as good as that. There was a testimonial from someone who was doing a double jump in real life because of us. This is what we do it all for. Thank you, Bass Toad. All right, next one. This is from Ben Fry. Congratulations on 200 episodes. That's a good numby. You guys are my favorite podcast. It's like, what if there were 2 guys who love to complain, but also love art and stories and things that kick ass? Well, it would be really good. And what if they kept making episodes until they were 200? Also really good. Your work is so important. Listening to Sicko Shock 2, I was so struck by the love and energy pouring out of it that I picked up my trombone and tuba and started practicing again after a long dry spell. I was literally like, I need to make some blue lightning happen. There's too much red lightning around here. I'm sure my neighbors are pissed, but maybe not. Maybe they love it. They don't love it. No, you cannot practice a brass instrument and do anything but enrage everyone around you. Sorry. I mean, you're right to do that, but your neighbors hate you.
Unless you're the Cherry Poppin' Daddies, in which case you would be killed by us.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not. You're not in the Cherry Pop Daddy's bed, Fry, and don't get any ideas about that either. I could go on, but I'll conclude by saying that I'm glad you are the only podcast, because it would suck if there were other ones. They would not be as good as this one. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
That is so fucking, like, to think that Sicko Shock 2 inspired someone to make music is like I'm feeling feelings here, folks. This is not just like
you got the tingles.
Yeah, this is not like normal praise. I mean, you don't have to be a fucking genius to figure this out, folks. It's real obvious because I wrote it. And I talk about how I'm learning piano, and still am after 4 years of trying. Like a lot of that was me trying to like manifest a kind of person that I would like to be. The sort of thing the relationship I would like to have with music. And it was really meaningful to me to write that. And, wow. Thank you, Ben. Anyway, moving on. This is from Max Kaufman. I migrated from Pittsburgh to California a little over a decade ago. And although I'm overall happier here, I miss the core Midwest cultural value of having a few homies and just hanging out. An itch that Anime Sicko scratches, albeit parasocially. My wife and I listened to punk rock as anime while driving back from camping in the desert on a sunny day earlier this summer. and giggled relentlessly until our cheeks hurt. A bright memory this year. Hell yeah. I love that.
Punk music is so bad. I love it.
It's so bad. You know what? Here's something I think I have not confessed. Is that, like, everyone, like, so many people online who talk about punk music talk about, like, how meaningful it was when they were in the disgusting punk house and saw basement shows and were in the pit. And, like, when I was out of the pit and I was soaking wet and my wallet had been ripped off and stolen from me while I was in the pit. And when I left, there was no bus home, and I had to walk through a ditch. It felt so good.
And also, I was covered in piss.
And it's just like, I'm going to make a confession here. I've never been to a punk house. I've never been to a basement show. And that's by design. It sounds fucking terrible. Every time I've been in a show and there has been a mosh pit, my brain starts going, leave.
I get nervous.
Yeah, I see footage of, like, a mosh pit, and I'm like, this is... Everyone who made this happen deserves to be executed today! And all the comments are like, look so fun, wish I could have been there. I don't fucking get it.
I just don't like being... I know the energy. It's the energy of totally losing, like, yourself in a mass of flesh non-sexually. I get that, but, like, just don't push me.
I would immediately find myself because I'm getting indignant over having just been pushed. Sorry, meh. That's me. That's my hang-ups. Punk music, though, it kicks ass because it's bad on purpose. They do it bad on purpose because it's funny. This is from Green from the Discord. I love Green. Dear Tom and Joe, I've listened to a lot of podcasts. Sure, okay, Anime Sickos is the only podcast, but consider that might transcend time and space, and in other times and in other places there have been other podcasts. You don't know what was taken from you. The Joe Rogan Experience, Mabim Bam. These words mean nothing to you, and you should feel thankful. But even if there was a whole podcast ecosystem, I'd keep coming back to Anime Sickos Podcast. I've experienced the regular gamut of human emotions, listening to you guys talk about things you find interesting, with a cast of kick-ass people. I've learned so much, too. I've seen the blood machine revealed for what it really is. I've always known complaining kicks ass, but I finally shed any guilt I felt for doing it. I've discovered so many pieces of media I wouldn't have ever heard about if you hadn't mentioned them. And I haven't even begun talking about the skits and the audio dramas. Oh, hell yeah, man. Sickos Act 2 is so good, I wish I could adequately describe the awe I felt experiencing it for the first time. And listening to it and then discussing it with the incredible crowd of people in the Anime Sickos Discord, it's a beautiful thing you have made. Sorry this is running long. This is a medium-length one, Green, don't worry. Thank you for making this thing. You're welcome.
That's a special one for Tom. I mean, I feel good too, but, like, you're filling up Tom's meter.
Man, I love people. I didn't say something about Sickos Act 2. People are choosing to, and that's good. I love this. Oh, we got to move. Let's move. River Rodriguez has this to say. I've been listening to the show since your episode on fandom, where you spent the first half listing out all your complaints and gripes about the topic, and then spent the second half getting politely dunked on by Whit Reynolds. I was fascinated. Plenty of podcasts, which of course there aren't any because Anime Sickos is the only podcast, will boldly state that they're hosted by idiots who shouldn't be listened to. But this is the first time I've heard of one actually putting their money where their mouth is and letting someone explain to them and their audience just how wrong they are. I knew I needed to listen to more, and as I scrolled through your episode list, I noticed you had an episode on the Venture Brothers. Fuck, I remember thinking as I listened, these guys completely have my number, don't they? From then on, I was completely hooked, and I listened to the entire backlog from the beginning. I laughed with delight and groaned with despair during the first few pre-quarantine episodes, knowing the doom of bad and fucked-upness that awaited past Tom and Joe, and also the world. I started putting references to the machine that will have blood into my university notes. I felt both jaded and oddly reassured when you talked about college being a scam, because I finally got the Anime Sickos experience of hearing the two of you explain a concept I had already internalized but could never put into words. We need to do that again. It's been a while since we've done that. Turns out...
Yeah, be insightful.
Yeah, it's not easy. And after a while, you run out. We'll try.
That's why all those philosopher guys, when they would run out of ideas, they would just drink hemlock and die.
That's why. If you go back and you read Socrates' podcast notes, that's why.
His last words were, "I'm spent."
I got no more good Greek ideas. The two of you are a phenomenal comedy/creative team. This is true. The Sicko Shock / Modesty City audio dramas are amazing, and I can't wait to see what new big creative swing you do in the future. Your show makes me feel a little less crazy in an actively decaying world, and embracing the sicko mindset has genuinely improved my mental health. Congratulations on 200 episodes. Here's to 200 more. Sincerely, River. P.S. I like the sketch episodes. Ignore the stats. Yeah, and also ignore my hateful, wretched co-host who says that we should be sandwiched between segments on a normal episode.
I'm suggesting moderate. I'm not saying they're gone. I'm just suggesting don't huff them all.
We've done 2 sketch episodes in 200. That's 1%. I think that's pretty moderate.
We could have done like the same amount of sketches, sprinkled sparingly and lovingly across all those same. I'm just saying, it's not like there'd be less.
This is what our creative swing in the future is going to be. We're going to...
Moderation?
No, we were going to record our symposium on more sketches sprinkled throughout or more all-sketch episodes. It's going to be 5 hours long. It's going to be our magnum opus. And at the end... we're going to come to the decision that it's mango. That mango is the answer.
Yes.
This is from Lindsay Boyd, who also, I forgot to read, they are also a new Patreon giver. So thank you, Lindsay, and thank you again for what I'm about to say. Hi, Tom and Joe. Congratulations on being the only podcast to reach 200 episodes. I just gave you 9 New Zealand dollars in actual currency so that Tom will read my message first on the podcast. Oops.
You fucked up.
So the reason...
You even got paid $9.
Fuck, man. I'm sorry. So the way it works is that if I get an email on the Anime Sickos account, I read it, unless it is a new Patreon subscriber email, in which case I leave it unread, and then I read all unread emails at the beginning of a show. However, my programming has encountered an unforeseen bug, which I also left all the praise emails unread. So I ran the read all unread emails subroutine, and well, you see how this gets us here. Sorry. Anyway. Continuing, Lindsay has this to say: thank you for being a thoughtful and entertaining distraction while I do my little tasks down here at the arse end of the world. Cheers, Lindsay from the Discord.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Hell yeah. I think, do you know the other guy who was from New Zealand? It's like small as hell down there. It's like Illinois size, right? You probably do. You should be homies if you're not. Also, thank you for the 9 New Zealand dollars. It's like funny money to me. Zollars. This is from Brandon B. Brandon B is a real homie. Brandon B is like a genius of drawing. He drew us a fucking like picture that we need to like make into a t-shirt, but then I forgot to ask. Can we make that drawing you made into a t-shirt with the big skeleton? It looks cool. Anyway, this is what Brandon B has to say.
Hey Tom, hey Joe. This is Brandon B. I started listening to the podcast in January of 2022 and quickly blew through your backlog of 100-ish episodes in the space of about 3 months. As a burnt-out cartoonist myself, that run of episodes you did early on featuring other burnt-out cartoonist guests really spoke to me. And over the course of 200 episodes, you have built a really cool audience, and I've made some good friends with people I met on the Sickos Discord. So anyway, keep up the good work. Cog Talk kicks ass. Complaining kicks ass. And Time Theft kicks ass. I'm recording this while I'm supposed to be working. Best of luck with the next 100 episodes. Anime Sickos Podcast.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Brandon's so cool.
We did really have a good run of just like, hey, you're a depressive cartoonist. Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
It's like, so is it possible to have success as a cartoonist? And they're like, not anymore. It's like, oh, fuck. Oh, that's cool. And the thing is, there are some depressive cartoonists that we still haven't hit up that we could easily get on. It's hard to think of like a new angle, and we don't want to have them waste a guest appearance, retreading stuff. If you can't think of any new angles, send them to us. And then this is from Alex Arnold. I just want to say how much I love listening to you guys yammer about bullshit. You're my platonic ideal of two guys standing next to each other. You genuinely brighten up my day every time a new episode drops. Like, I actually smile and get a dopamine rush immediately. I am Pavlov's sicko, truly. I fucking love how you talk about how shit sucks and how shit rules, because I'm mostly always nodding my head along to your takes. Both of these general statements make me feel like I'm not a deranged hermit on a lonely island surrounded by a sea of screaming eels from The Princess Bride, except the eels are actually evil instead of just hungry. They are also hungry. I also love how you did all those audio dramas. Oh, fuck yes. I still truly cannot believe that you did them, let alone with such panache, or that practically no one listened to them. They're some of my favorite they're some of my favorite hours of any media, period. The ideas they explore are stuck in my head, and once again, the shoes joke is an absolute all-timer.
I got the touch.
This is an incredibly selfish ask, but please make more of them. Maybe some sort of synthesis of all 4 pillars if you feel you've explored them enough individually. I'm crazy about this shit, man. It's so good. Thank you both for being funny and never horny in public. I will go so far as to say, you're allowed to email my wife. Mondo, cool regards, Alex Arnold. Well, we're not gonna, but it's nice to know
we're not.
We
That's
could.
scary.
And if we did, I'd probably just send a bunch of YouTube links to Noah and Lewis Cole live sessions.
I would probably just send links to Sicko Shock too.
Man, I love people saying they actually like this stupid shit. I love it. All right, so that's all the civilians who gave us kind words. And let's round out the episode with our fucking murderer's row of incredible guests and collaborators who have fucking amazing things to say. This is from Devin Price, who is a genius who all therapists love. Every therapist loves Devin Price and has heard of him. And it's so funny to be like, Devin thinks our fucking goofer show is like one of the best things in the world.
So like my therapist, to be clear, I like her very much. She is a fan of Devin, and it's when I heard that it was funny because it was just like, oh, like I know him, but they for like stupid reasons.
Yeah. Okay, here's what Devin has to say.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Joe. It's Devin, and I just wanted to congratulate you both on your 200th episode. I literally just finally signed up for the Patreon after years of meaning to and then forgetting.
Yep.
So everyone else should do that as well. But I just wanted to say I love your guys' approach to creativity, your outlook on the creative process, that you're not interested in churning out duh sludge that is just a constant churn of the same shit or just chasing after the metrics. I love that you guys are bad at self-promotion, that you're not these like unsold persons who only exist to optimize and engage online, even though, of course, we do all engage online to some amount. We do all still have a little bit of that brain virus. But I just, I love your conversations about trying new things, following what you're actually interested in creatively, evolving the show based on what you're passionate about, and also just really investing a lot of your time and care into the creative works that really get you going, like the sketches, like Sicko Shock 2, regardless of whether or not they get the numbies. Sometimes that deeper work, it demands more of an audience, more sincere, deep engagement, and that just means, as a matter of course, that you're going to get a slightly smaller number of people who are able to show up and do that. But it's a richer relationship, and it's worth it. Not everything is about numby going up. As much as we are gamers here and we like numbies going up. So thank you for doing what you do. It helps me feel less insane as a creative and as someone who's trying to step away from social media bullshit. And I just love you guys. I listen to you every morning doing my little workouts whenever you have a new episode up, and it keeps me company and makes me feel more normal and good. So keep it up. Here's to 200 more episodes.
Hell yeah.
I like that. That made me feel good.
So you got to play that for your therapist, and then she will have to conclude that you are cured and, in fact,
Solved,
better than her.
in fact, yeah, you're in charge now. You're telling me what I'm supposed to be doing with my brain.
Thank you, Devin. That is a very smart thing to say about why the numbies on our stupid traumas and sketches are less big. But I do want the numbie to be big.
It's also about having a rich and deep back
Yeah,
catalog.
but like that's something you have to like really experience.
But not in a Rush way where the deep cut sucks, but like a real
I've never
way.
listened to Rush. I'm afraid to because I think
Most of it's like not.
dude, I feel
good.
like any reaction is one I don't want to have. Either I'm going to get really into Rush, awful, or I'm going to be like, Rush sucks! And then I listen to something that sucks. I'm like, so I don't know. I'm staying away. Thank you, Devin. That was incredible. Again, your support and continual allyship to the Sicko cause has been a pillar, not one of the pillars we talked, a good pillar since day one. And I'm glad that we can be your homie. Next one, this is from our homie Alex Borkowski, Borko as he's sometimes called. The line from the show that lives rent-free in my head is when Joe said, I bet the guy who invented jacking off is really rich. So,
I mean, at this point, maybe his kids are. Like, there's definitely like a jacking off fortune that there are heirs to.
well, this is interesting because he continues. My question for the host is, do you still believe the guy who invented jacking off is really rich? Or have you revised this opinion in the intervening years? Well, I assume, Joe, you think that the money it's become old money. Like, it's only growing.
Oh, it's absolutely old money. Was West Egg the old money or East? Whatever.
Egg. That was one. I love The Great Gatsby, but like egg.
Yeah, whatever. I'm on the old money egg now, or I'm not. I didn't invent jacking off because if I did, I'd be on the old money.
Yeah,
egg, which I'm not.
I would be like begging you for some scraps. I'd be like, Joe, give me $1 million. It's nothing to you. Anyway. Additionally, Alex continues, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with Mobile Fighter G Gundam. I'm not. But if that series was being made today, what do you think Neo America's Maxter Gundam would look like? Important caveat, it must still be piloted by Chibody Crockett.
Can I get a quick search on Fievel? Was that his name?
Yeah. Fievel would be piloting it. He's the Jewish mouse. This Gundam looks like a fucking Transformer. It looks like Optimus Prime. So I think
it would look like a cowboy.
It should have a cowboy hat like Tifa from the flashbacks. I went to a fucking Final Fantasy VII orchestra show, symphony show, and I was really excited about it. I was gonna go to it with Chuck, but he couldn't. And I was so devastated that what it actually was as a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth orchestra show, by which I mean they played almost none of the iconic Final Fantasy songs. They didn't play the Final Fantasy VII battle theme. Insane. Instead, they played fucking background music from the filler stuff from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I haven't played, so none of those songs gave me any nostalgia, which is the whole point. That's why you go to these stupid things. And it was like, also the arrangements were all really lame. And I didn't have a good time. I did not enjoy it. I thought it was bad music. All of which is to say, the ending of Tar is real. It's right to be that mean-spirited. If you are a conductor doing those types of symphony shows, you are an embarrassment to yourself and the world. All of which is to say, as they were playing the music, they were playing footage from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on a projector behind it, which really made it embarrassing. But
ooh, I don't like that at all. Let's minimize the fact that this came from a game.
there was, oh my god, dude, they played the Costa del Sol theme, which, like, of all the fucking actual, like, songs from the original Final Fantasy VII soundtrack to play, you pick Costa del Sol and not fucking Battle theme. They didn't play Tifa's theme ever. Not even a different arrangement or in
was
a
there a
medley.
Chocobo theme?
They didn't play the Chocobo theme.
What the fuck? That's the Mario.
Yeah, they
song.
played Galian Beast. They played a battle medley called Galian Beast. It fucking had no melody that I could pick out because it was a medley. So it was constantly changing, and I didn't know what they were because they haven't played Rebirth. Anyway, as if it wasn't embarrassing enough that I was there doing that shit. It's Costa del Sol. Yeah, Costa del Sol. while that was playing, they were putting the footage of Costa del Sol from Rebirth, which had that fucking part from the trailer where Tifa and fucking Aerith show up in their huge booby outfits and do that anime lean forward with the fucking arms pushed in. Like, what are you thinking about, Cloud? And Cloud goes, I'm looking at Booby's face. And I'm like, I paid for this? Jesus Christ. And that's not all. On the background, there was a Nibelheim suite, and they were playing the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth theme, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth cutscenes of the Nibelheim flashback. And Joe, seeing like AAA 2024 cutting edge graphics Tifa with her cowboy hat on was the funniest fucking thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Everyone is here to see this woman.
It was so fucking funny. Anyway, moving on. Oh, this is Medley. Medley sang us a song for our 100th episode. Will he sing us a song now?
Wow, wow, wow. 200 episodes. Tom, Joe, from me, for those at home, James Medley, couple-time guesto, huge fan, ardent supporter. I just am gobsmacked. It's 200 episodes and people still don't understand what the show is or what it's about. I get it. 200 of anything is a lot. I should edit in like a joke here, relevant to 200. But no, earnestly, this isn't a joke. Earnestly, thank you both for keeping me in the loop and letting me be a part of your incredible, incredible show. And I really hope you keep doing it until you're 100 years old, even if you're only putting out an episode a year or something. I don't care. But I didn't want to come empty-handed to the party, so I put together a little song, as I do. Maybe my most earnest song to date. And it's just something for people still hesitant to hop into the Sicko community and take on the Sicko mindset. So here you go. Thanks again. Love you. It's not about anime. It's not about anime. It's an exploration of misery. And maybe a satirical takedown of late-stage capitalism. And how it feels to suffer as a creative and forward-thinking individual.
When he said there was a song, I was so worried there would be no song.
You mean he would fake you
Well,
out?
because I thought it was too much to ask that he would write another song for 200 when he already wrote us a song for 100. That was a good song.
What he should have done is just played the same song for 100.
And just, like, dub it.
Say two when necessary. But thank you. Hell yeah. We have good listeners. Thank you, Medley. That
So I
rocks.
wish that I saw any people in real life more often than I do. But, like, I wish we could hang out with Medley more. And it's easy, too, because he lives here. Maybe we'll do it. I'll definitely try. All right, next, we got Casey Tony. It's fucking Stack Overflow himself, folks. It's audio. I'm playing it.
Hello, I am Casey Tony, and I am an anime sicko. 200 episodes of Anime Sickos without a multi-million-dollar Spotify deal proves that there is a sickness at the heart of this world for which there is no cure. Tom and Joe should be as ubiquitous as Tom and Jerry. Tom and Joe should be so precious to the American people that their image is abused for tacky novelty cameos like the Iron Giant and the Batmobile in Ready Player One. Except Ready Player One sucks, so give Tom and Joe $175 million to make the next Sicko Shock instead. The point is, there is no level of success in this world that our boys do not deserve. Their success is more valuable to me than my own. I've been a patron since I went Guesto mode with them 134 eps ago, and I will be one for 134 more. Hell, make it an even 200. They are truly two of the sharpest, funniest, most iconoclastic voices being recorded to 24-bit wave. And guess what, listeners? They're like that off mic as well. Tom, Joe, thank you for what you do. For all the love and effort you've put into this show over the years. Your takes, jokes, and creations have made the anime, gaming, posting, and jobs all a little less miserable. Here's to 200 more. Or however many you want to do. Don't feel pressured or anything. Jesus Christ, it's hard enough out there already without somebody breathing down your neck for 200 more fucking episodes of a podcast. My God. That's like 4 years of your fucking life. Come on. Anyway, bye.
205. Let's say that.
I hear people are always like, "Do you like for as long as you're gonna keep it going?" Like, we have no intention of stopping because, again, us just yapping for an hour, that
They'll
counts
have
as an
to
episode.
stop us.
Yeah,
I don't know who they is.
It's like if we ever decide to call it in and like hang up our hats, what that means is every month we're going to put out a yapping episode with no plan, because if we don't do that, we'll die. But no, we're thank you, Casey. I too wish we had $175 million. I do think that you should wish for your own success more than ours, because you also fucking kick ass and deserve everything.
Equally,
yes.
Maybe equally.
And all things being equal, you should have that slight selfish edge for yourself. Not saying that you should be like, fuck the Sickos, it's all for me. But like, you know, man, you're worth it too. No one's going to be a bigger advocate for you than yourself. I love you, Casey. You should too.
I'm your advocate.
Next up, we've got our homie Jeff Stormer. He did our awesome Chrono Trigger game. Let's hear Jeff what Jeff got to say.
Anime Sickos Tom. Anime Sickos Joe. Congratulations on 200 episodes. That number is so stupid, to be clear. Like, your average podcast, when you look at like all of the podcasts, all of the numbers, it lasts for 7 episodes, because the art form is completely clogged with shows that make it 3 episodes and then flare out. So to make it to 200 is already an achievement that few will ever reach. But to make 200 episodes of not just a podcast, but the best podcast, is something that I am every single day, frankly, in awe of. Like, truly the joy that I get when I get pinged with a Patreon email and then later get the same ping on my podcatcher app, that I'm going to get to spend an hour or two with the funniest motherfuckers that I've ever known, who are also smart and kind and insightful, and I cannot emphasize this enough, the funniest motherfuckers that I've ever known. That joy is beyond palpable. And to get to say that I was there for an episode, a game that I still laugh when I think about, is legitimately a highlight of my career. So all of that is to say, congratulations on 200 episodes. I look forward to being here for episodes 300, 400, 500, but if that doesn't happen, I will instead be happy that we got 200 episodes of brilliant, joy-inducing art from the podcast for brain geniuses and the only podcast. Anime Sickos Podcast.
Thank you, Jeff.
Jeff's so cool. Talk about a large number of podcasts being something to be really proud of. Did you know that Jeff's podcast, Party of One, I'll say it, the best actual play podcast, and the reason being that its incredible premise makes it listenable and pleasant for everyone, and not just weird freaks who have made a parasocial relationship with the friends who may or may not be at the table. You can just pop in because it's just all 2 people playing a one-shot forever. It's so fucking good. I've been on twice, I believe, and it's been 3 times. And those are some of the most fun podcast recordings I've ever had. Definitely the most fun guest recordings I've ever been on. Party of One podcast, 421 episodes as of recording. God damn, that's a lot. And they're all, I don't know if they're all good. Probably. They all got Jeff on them, and Jeff's great. So that's what I'm going to say. Shit, we got something from our homie Whit Reynolds. The Whit gave us another audio. All of our guestos give us audio. I wonder if that means something.
A soul connection.
Or perhaps we know already that they have microphones because they went on the podcast.
It is one of the most satisfying moments in my life when I can make the recommendation of Anime Sickos to someone, and later they come back to me and say, I've been listening to Anime Sickos nonstop since you talked about it. I've converted someone, I've changed their life. Just like Anime Sickos has changed my life. Aww. Mostly because I've listened to the episode about decadence like 30 times. I don't know, it's really comforting. I really like that one. And we love you guys. You're the best.
No, you're the best. We are the best, though.
It's comforting because they're little Lego guys.
Little Lego guys. Decadence is like...
It's a wonderful anime that has a completely like serious thematic elements that is happening with half the cast as Playmobil guys, but it like doesn't take away the severity. It's so funny. And I think my favorite part in the whole show is like at the end when like the normal human catches the main guy who's a Playmobil guy driving a car and his feet barely reach the pedal and it's just like, what the fuck is that thing? And it's like, that's the guy that you care
That's
about.
like your mentor and best friend. Real life version though.
The Android logo is driving the car.
It's a deeply real and heartfelt piece of art that is completely earnest, but also it's like, but we are some stupid shit, though. We're also some stupid shit. We talk about, Anime Sickos, we're not actually about anime. We never talk about anime. I don't even want to watch an anime so we can talk about it because they're so stupid. Decadence is just great. I have no caveats about Decadence. It's just a great show. Love it. Next, Sir AJ Diddy. AJ from the fucking worst of all possible worlds. He has this to say. Hey, Sickos, congrats on reaching 200 episodes. Who would have thought that in 2019, two geniuses would come together and take on the 4 pillars of anime, gaming, posting, and jobs, and would spend the next 5 years talking exclusively about at least 3 of those things. From incisive dissections of RPG mechanics to free-flowing conversations about your favorite dusts, y'all have consistently provided entertaining, thoughtful episodes that ask the deepest questions plaguing society. Is punk rock anime? Yes. Why is Florida the devil? Can a podcast be too good? No. But seriously, the amount of passion that you put into the show is deeply inspiring, from the intricate world building and pathos of Sickos Act 2 to the refined and tasty bits of Oops All Sketches, to the episodes almost exclusively about hot dogs. You approach each topic with wit, charm, and not insignificant amount of heart. People say that podcasts can't be art. Do they? Shit. I didn't know that. But I say those people are dumb. Oh, okay, good. And would be wise to become geniuses through the patented process of listening to Anime Sickos. Here's to another 200 episodes, unless Tom succumbs to one of the many traps I have set up around his apartment, the bait of which is an extremely mediocre drawing of Ayla and Robo from Chrono Trigger doing hand stuff. Spoilers, they're holding hands and are in love. See, I knew it would be a twist like that, because Robo doesn't have anything, and he doesn't have any stuff for a hand to do anything with.
He has like a weird wrestling tunic over his crotch. We didn't talk about that on the episode. In his official art, he's got a weird... It's actually kind of like a banner when a high school wins a championship at a sport, and he's just like wearing that on his crotch.
Toriyama loves weird baggy pants for no reason. It's one of his signatures. Fuck. Oh. Got 2 more. Oh, we're almost done. This is from Gwyn. Gwyn! Shuffle Quest had Gwyn on it. Did you know we did Shuffle Quest, listener? It's a fucking RPG show that is good. It's like pretty funny. Man, I forgot that we did that. That's like really cool. Like, it's funny. Like, there's a lot of good bits.
As much as doing this pitch where it's like, oh, it's a podcast, but we don't talk about anime all the time, it pales in comparison in terms of easiness. Or rather, to do it this way is much easier than to pitch an RPG show, which is like, yeah, me and my friends are going to record ourselves rolling dice, and you got to listen to them all in a row.
We're playing pretend, but there's a big story, and yeah, you have to pay attention. You can't just put this on in the background because you won't understand the plot. She was also Dr. Fiona Firewire from Sicko Shock 2, and oh god, I forget the name of her character. She was the mother of the Godsphere family. How did I forget my own character name? She was the mother of the Godsphere family in Modesty City. Violet is the daughter. What is her name? Whatever. She has written us a poem. Dear anime sickos, you're never a bag of dickos. Tom is a dove, Joe's death from above. Y'all make this world less of a fuck it. Nothing rhymes with sicko. But you get what I mean. I love you too. May all your dreams go Super Saiyan.
Thank you. I wish I could go Super Saiyan.
It would be so cool. I mean, I would say something does rhyme with sicko, but you already identified it, which is dickos. Remember when we started the newsletter and we were like, we're going to have a segment called Sickos Pickos, and then we did that once?
Because half the time our pickos just ended up being episode ideas anyway.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, the newsletter, if you don't know, we have a newsletter. We have a newsletter. It's animesickos.substack.com. It's just, at this point, just me writing reviews about stuff that is not worth an episode. So it comes out about every 6 months, so don't feel like you're missing a lot. And our final word of congratulations and praise is from one of the dearest homies of the show, Sarah McHenry. For going on 5 years now, the Anime Sickos have consistently brought joy and light into my life. Of course, the show is very funny. The boys make me laugh so hard. But there's also a catharsis involved. A warm solidarity of, this shit sucks, but at least we can be honest about it with each other and with you. The machine will have blood, but in the meantime, the Sickos have my axe. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Big special thanks to Sarah, who was an initial point of momentum for us. Thank you.
We talk about like, oh, we're so bad at promoting ourselves. We have no growth. We'll never grow. The reason we're even...
Everything that's happened, though, is because of Sarah.
Yes, the reason we're at a point where we're able to like moan and complain in like a jokey way and not like, I guess we have to give up the show. It's a failure.
Do it.
Is because of Sarah and what she did for us. She was the only growth factor we've ever had, and her support is incredible. When we reached out to her to be a guest, I didn't fucking know her yet. I was just like, this is someone who's on Twitter who I really think is so funny, is such a good writer, is so interesting. And I know she's in Chicago, so let's shoot our shot. And man, what a good move that was.
Both the McHenrys being off Twitter sucks. It is for sure, I think, my two most missed accounts.
Yeah. Well, that and Josh, but it's good for Josh to be off.
Yeah.
Like the McHenrys, I'm like, oh, come back on. They could come back on. But wishing that Josh came back on would be like, I wish Josh had a gun in his house and no safe. Like, no, don't give him a gun. Don't do it. That's all the people who said nice things about us. That fucking whipped. You don't know, listener, but we had some technical difficulties at the end that made it stressful and take too long. But otherwise, it fucking whipped. I'm so pleased.
Thank you so much for all the kind words. It means a lot.
It really does.
The specific reason and way this show is very important to me and helpful to me is that it is sort of like this miscellaneous box that I can put whatever in that's kind of like jumping around in my brain. And it's not always something that warrants an episode, but there is this space in my life where it's a creative space, and it's just one in which you get to iterate and just come up with shit. And there's nothing like that else in my life. And for that reason, the show is very special to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I got like nothing going on creatively, I feel insane and like, what's the point? Like, why am I, like, why another day? Which is a bad feeling that I try to avoid at all times. However, it used to be that I often would feel that way despite my best efforts, because it turns out you have to have a job to live. And when you do that, you don't have a lot of free time, and often you're worn out by the job. And often, as well, and also when you don't have a lot of momentum, it kind of feels impossible to start something, because, like, what even is a good idea? I don't have any good ideas. I mean, let me think of an idea. I got nothing because I'm tired from job. It's all pointless. Like, what am I'll never do anything. And sometimes you do something and it's a big flop and no one gives a shit, and you're just like, see, it was dumb, it was bad. Anime Sickos, if nothing else, and there is else. That if is a conditional, which is not true, but if nothing else, it makes it so that at all times, like Joe said, at all times that creative space is open to me. I will always be doing something. There are definitely times when I'm like, I feel like we're in a rut, we're doing the same old shit, and I don't have any ideas. I'm like, I'm kind of feeling that feeling, but it's like a very mild and deal-withable version of that feeling, because I know I will always have at least some momentum, and the actual recording process is never not the best. Even when I'm like, I'm feeling like we're in a rut, like when we're fucking yapping, like, well, that's fun. Like, this is good yapping. And so in that sense, we may take a break for a while. Specifically, I'm saying this because I don't think I've told you that I'm going out of town to visit my in-laws for 2 weeks in like a week. So we're not going to be doing episodes then. And we may take a few sicko breaks just because I'm tired. But maybe not. Maybe I'll be so refreshed when I get back that I'm like, fuck it, let's do some more right away. But yeah, we're not going no place. As I said, if anything's ever going to like make us stop, it's going to be we just do it less frequently.
It's because we got too close to the truth.
It's because we learned about giants. They're too sexual. Someone posted in the Discord, there was some ancient art where it's one of those things where it's like it's like the Nazca lines, but I don't think it is the Nazca lines, where it's like like lines in the ground that when seen from above makes a thing, and it's a giant man with a huge dick, and they were doing what's the word? Restorative work on it to keep it, intact. And their current restorative project was focused on the dick. And I'm just like, this is what we were talking about. The giants are too sexy. People can't know. We're right. Fuck. Okay, I'm done. I've got to eat. I'm hungry. Bye-bye.
I'm hungry too. Take it easy. Thank you for the kind words. See you for 202 and then an additional 200.
Hell yeah. We love you. I'm glad people think we're funny. That's so important. If people didn't think I was funny, I'd do it for real. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.